What if the oldest thing we ever believed wasn't fire, or family, or even survival, but the sacred? We shaped stone into blades. We tamed the wild flame. We learned to hunt, to gather, to build a home. But long before any of that, we feared the dark. And in that darkness we felt something stir inside of us, a feeling that we were not alone, that the wind could speak to us, the stars were watching over us, and that, beyond the storms and the hunger and the death, something greater was waiting for us. And so long before the first prayer, long before any gods had names, we were already reaching for something beyond ourselves, something to make sense of the world around us. And maybe that's the most human thing we've ever done, to reach for the sacred. The great irony of religion is that it's often dismissed as a crutch, a childish form of comfort, while actually being one of the most sophisticated things humankind has ever done. More than 2 million years ago, before our ancestors even shaped stone into tools, they had already learned to fear. They feared the dark, they feared the unknown, they feared the thunder rolling from the heavens. And perhaps, in that fear, they also began to imagine something larger than themselves, a force they could not see but could feel, a presence without a name. Long before temples, long before prayers, there may have already been something we now call God. Religious thought did not begin with sacred books or ancient temples. It may have begun far earlier, when humans were still nomadic, illiterate, and unaware of the world beyond the next hill. Anthropological studies reveal that hunter-gatherer societies across the world, though lacking structured theology, have long believed in spirits of the forest, gods of the river, ancestors who watch from beyond. These weren't beliefs learned from scripture. They emerged from intuition, from awe and uncertainty, from looking up at a sky full of stars and asking, why am I here? In truth, religion is older than humanity. You can't outgrow it. You can't reason it out of existence. It doesn't care about your intelligence or education. Religion is the original story. It's the first narrative that bound us together as creatures seeking meaning in an indifferent universe. There are two prevailing theories for how this all began. The first is called the animistic theory. This posits that early humans projected human characteristics onto animals, plants, and natural phenomena, effectively creating a society of spirits. Humans could then communicate with these spirits through rituals and shamans, thereby appeasing them and influencing their behavior. The second theory is known as the shamanistic theory. This suggests that early humans experienced altered states of consciousness through the use of psychedelic substances and encountered non-human entities. These encounters led to the development of belief systems aimed at replicating these experiences and communicating with the entities encountered within them, regardless of which theory more accurately depicts the early stirrings of religious thought. What we do know is that the earliest archaeological evidence of intentional burial comes from around 125,000 years ago in Israel's Kofsa cave. The discovery of at least 10 skeletons buried with grave goods suggests a society capable of abstract thought and symbolic representation. But such early burials are by no means unique to the Levant. Around the same time, Neanderthals in Iraq's Shanidar cave buried their dead with flowers and animal bones. In France's La Ferracie, a young girl was laid to rest with a necklace made of animal teeth. In China's Baixin and Maba sites, entire villages of hunter-gatherers were abandoned shortly after a mass death, suggesting ritualistic behaviors and an understanding of mortality. These ancient humans may not have had names for gods, but they had grief, they had reverence, they had a sense that death was not the end. That alone is a spiritual act. But burial rituals are only one piece of the puzzle. To understand the very first stirrings of religious thought, we must look at cave paintings, petroglyphs, and the oldest surviving piece of human-made music. Across the globe, caves once covered in prehistoric art have been discovered. Some date back as far as 40,000 years. They depict animals, hunting scenes, and geometric patterns. The Lascaux cave in France contains the famous Great Hole of the Bulls. Altamira in Spain features hundreds of finely rendered deer. Together, these works demonstrate a culture deeply engaged with the natural world and suggest a desire to capture its essence in artistic form. Then there are the petroglyphs scattered across rock surfaces from North Africa to South America. These engravings, some as old as 12,000 years, include simple line drawings of animals and humans, as well as more complex iconographic systems. The Nabta Playa in Egypt, for example, is home to nearly 200 petroglyphs depicting gazelles, ostriches, and humans. Given their age, these engravings predate the pharaohs by several millennia. Yet they reveal a society concerned with representing the world visually and transmitting that knowledge across generations. And then there's the Divya Bara in Slovenia, where 60,000 years ago, a flute made of bone was crafted. This simple instrument with only 6 holes is the oldest of its kind ever found. It may never have played a role in organized religion, but it does reveal an inclination toward music and rhythm, elements commonly associated with spiritual practices across cultures. Taken together, these artifacts hint at the development of a more complex religious framework. Early humans were not simply burying their dead. They were engaging in elaborate rituals, creating symbolic representations of the world around them and expressing themselves through music. All of these behaviors suggest an emerging awareness of the intangible, a recognition that life was more than the physical world they inhabited. It wasn't until much later, with the advent of agriculture, that religion took on a more institutionalized form. As humans settled down and formed communities, their interactions with the spiritual realm became more formalized. Rituals developed into ceremonies, and stories evolved into myth. This shift marked a significant change in human history, separating prehistory from protohistory and eventually giving rise to the world's first historical religions. The oldest of these is widely believed to be Christianity, which emerged in the Middle East around 10,000 years ago. Archaeological evidence points to a society with a deep reverence for the land, its fertility, and its bounty. Human figurines have been unearthed, some depicting human-animal hybrids, suggesting a belief system that blurred the lines between species. Places like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey offer further insight, showcasing monumental architecture and a culture capable of large-scale organization. Though much of the archaeological record of early religion has been lost to time, these remnants provide tantalizing glimpses into a world where spirituality permeated every aspect of life. This emergence of formal religion coincided with the beginnings of civilization, marking a new phase in human development. Cities grew, social structures became more complex, and written language emerged, allowing for the recording and transmission of religious texts. The Fertile Crescent, considered the cradle of civilization, gave rise to some of the world's first religious traditions. In Mesopotamia, the Epic of Gilgamesh, a tale of a king's journey for immortality, reflected a society grappling with the mysteries of life and death. The ancient Egyptians, meanwhile, developed a pantheon of gods and goddesses, each associated with various aspects of nature and human experience. Their elaborate burial practices, including the construction of pyramids, showcased a profound preoccupation with the afterlife. As civilizations spread across the globe, so too did religious ideas. From the Indus Valley to ancient China, cultures developed their own beliefs and practices. In India, the concept of dharma, a cosmic order that demanded ethical conduct, took root. In China, the worship of ancestors and the veneration of Confucian values shaped society. Over the centuries, these diverse religious traditions have evolved, interacted, and sometimes clashed. Monotheistic religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam emerged, challenging polytheistic beliefs and reshaping spiritual landscapes. Meanwhile, indigenous faiths continued to thrive, adapting to changing circumstances while preserving ancient wisdom. Today, the world is home to a myriad of religious traditions, each offering its own path to understanding the divine. The rise of secularism and scientific materialism has led to a decline in religious influence in some parts of the world. Yet faith continues to shape the lives of billions, providing comfort, meaning, and a sense of community. As we look back on the long and winding path of religion, from its earliest stirrings in the minds of hunter-gatherers to its current, multifaceted form, we encounter a tapestry of beliefs and practices that enrich the human experience. The story of religion is ultimately a story of humanity itself, a testament to our enduring search for meaning in an often meaningless world. For millions of years, humanity lacked the ability to shape metal, to hunt large game, to build shelters, to cook food, to speak abstractly, to bury the dead, to control fire. For all that time, though, they revered the supernatural. Sometimes there's nothing more human than that. And if you want to learn more about how modern science is reframing our understanding of the divine, check out our series where scientists, historians, and theologians come together to explore everything from the psychology of miracles to the search for extraterrestrial life. This is a beautiful story, but how true is it? Did humans invent God? When stone tools appeared, early humans began to shape their world. They carved blades, mastered fire, formed groups. But one thing remained, their sense of something beyond. We can see this in Lascaux deep in the darkness of the caves. Humans painted spirals, horned figures, and star-like patterns. They didn't paint animals or plants. They painted echoes of a deeper awareness. In Chauvet, they showed half-human figures emerging from the shadows, not from nature, but from imagination. Without written language, they spoke through images. Were these for communication, perhaps between themselves, or were they for something more? The idea of a higher presence may have begun here, not as a figure in the sky, but a feeling of being watched, of storms whispering meaning, of hands guiding their own. No animal buries its dead with care. No wolf paints on stone, only humans. We looked up and wondered, so we gave it names: the dreaming, spirits, protectors, ancestors, and eventually more sacred terms. But did we really invent God? Is belief merely an echo of ancient voices, a feeling instilled in us since the dawn of consciousness? Or is there something more, a universal spark that ignited into faith when we gazed up at the stars? Are we truly alone in this vast universe, or are we connected to something greater? Do we shape our beliefs, or does the cosmos mold us in ways we don't understand? How did human consciousness evolve? And why do we have an innate sense of something beyond? Before we created gods, maybe we bowed our heads. Before logic, there was wonder. Maybe belief wasn't taught but felt, an instinct to find purpose, to belong, to connect with something greater than fear. From this instinct, faith sprouted. What does science say about this? Well, let's start with a surprising fact. The capacity for religious thought might actually be hardwired into our brains. A group of researchers led by Justin L. Barrett from the University of Manchester conducted several experiments. They discovered that even infants as young as 6 months old could differentiate between human faces displaying fearful expressions and those showing non-fearful expressions. This suggests that we are innately predisposed to recognize and respond to fear, which is the basis of our survival instincts. But it goes further. Our brains are wired to perceive agency, intentionality, and consciousness in others. This innate ability allows us to comprehend the actions of others and predict their behavior based on their intentions, facilitating social interactions and cooperation. So yes, we have an innate sense of something beyond. But did this translate into a belief in God or higher powers? To explore this, we must journey to another cradle of humanity, the Fertile Crescent. Here around 12,000 years ago, settlements thrived, agriculture blossomed, and with it, the idea of a higher power took root. In the archaeological record, we find Göbekli Tepe, a site that rewrote history. Its pillars adorned with animals hinted at a ritual space, a place where people gathered to express their devotion. As communities grew, so did their need for organization. And with it, the concept of a higher authority emerged. Leaders claimed divine lineage, shaping societies with laws and rituals. But were these leaders truly chosen by God, or were they simply the most persuasive storytellers? Some scholars argue that Göbekli Tepe's pillars, with their intricate carvings and seemingly ritualistic layout, indicate a deliberate attempt to evoke awe and reverence. These structures may have served as focal points for communal gatherings, fostering a sense of shared identity and purpose among the community members. However, this interpretation is debated. Others suggest that the site may have had more mundane functions, such as a ceremonial center for healing or a gathering place for social events. Another testament to this transition is the Lion Man of Holland, a sculpture dating back 40,000 years. This magnificent piece found in southern Germany depicts a hybrid creature, part man, part lion. It symbolizes the dawn of a new era where humans became more than mere survivors. They sought to express their emotions and tell stories through art. As hunter-gatherer societies transitioned into settled agricultural communities, a profound shift occurred in human consciousness. With the domestication of plants and animals, humans no longer needed to follow their food sources or engage in constant battles for survival. This stability allowed for the exploration of abstract ideas, including spirituality and religion. These changes led to a surge in creativity, evident in the cave paintings of Lascaux and Out. Humans began depicting not just animals, but also spiritual beings and mythical creatures. These paintings serve as a window into a world where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural were blurred. This was the era when belief in God truly flourished. Ancient texts like the Epic of Gilgamesh and the Pyramid texts offer glimpses into a world saturated with divine beings and rituals. Humans were no longer content with explaining the world through natural phenomena. They craved stories that connected them to something greater. One striking example is the worship of Ashur, a Mesopotamian deity associated with healing and fertility. As societies progressed, so did their beliefs. In Egypt, the pharaohs were considered divine. They ruled not just over the living, but the dead as well. Mummies were prepared for an afterlife journey, reflecting a deep-rooted belief in an existence beyond the physical realm. Across the globe, similar transformations occurred. In India, the Indus Valley civilization gave way to the Vedic period. The Rig Veda, a collection of hymns and prayers, contained some of the earliest references to gods, like Indra and Agni, setting the foundation for Hinduism. However, the path to faith was not a straightforward one. Each society grappled with questions of morality, justice, and the meaning of life. In Mesopotamia, the goddess Ishtar descends into hell, mirroring humanity's confrontation with death. The Hebrew prophets challenged the status quo, calling for justice and righteousness. In Persia, Zoroaster preached a dualistic faith, a battle between good and evil that profoundly influenced later religions. This questioning and seeking became a driving force, pushing humanity to explore the depths of its soul. Did humans really invent God? We now understand that the seeds of faith were sown long before organized religions. Our innate curiosity, the evidence in our genes, pushed us to find meaning in the chaos of existence. But did we truly create these narratives out of thin air, or were they inspired by something beyond our understanding? Think about it. If we can ponder our existence, can't we also imagine a higher power? Does belief in God arise from our need for connection, a yearning for guidance in an unpredictable world? Is it a testament to our adaptability, our resilience, and our unending quest for understanding? We can't deny that storytelling is at the heart of human culture. Since we lacked written records, stories passed down orally became the keepers of our history, traditions, and values. And what better way to impart wisdom and morals than through tales of gods and heroes? But did these stories merely reflect our deepest fears and aspirations? Or were they glimpses into a reality we could unsee? Were our ancestors truly inventing myths? Or were they remembering truths revealed to them in dreams or visions? Could it be that the desire to believe in God is a fundamental aspect of the human experience, a longing for something greater that echoes within our souls? Or is it a response to the mysteries of life, death, and the cosmos that have always surrounded us? We may never have a definitive answer to this question. After all, belief is a deeply personal and spiritual matter. But as we continue to explore the origins of humanity, one thing becomes clear. Our belief in God is not merely a product of our minds, but a reflection of our journey as a species, our triumphs, our struggles, our hopes, and our dreams. It is a testament to the enduring human spirit, our ability to find meaning in the face of adversity, to seek solace in times of despair, and to reach for the stars in our quest for knowledge and understanding. As we gaze up at the celestial tapestry above us, we cannot help but wonder about the vastness of the universe and our place within it. Is there truly a higher power that guides our destiny? Or are we merely a product of cosmic chance? Perhaps the answer lies not in the heavens above, but in the depths of our own being, for it is within us that the spark of curiosity, the thirst for knowledge, and the yearning for connection reside. It is through these qualities that we have explored the unknown, unraveling the mysteries of the natural world and reaching out to understand the complexities of the human experience. Our belief in God may indeed be a creation of our minds, a tapestry woven from the threads of our collective imagination and shared experiences. Yet it is a testament to the extraordinary capabilities of the human mind. Just as a single star shines brightly against the backdrop of a dark sky, so too does our belief in God illuminate our path through the darkness, guiding us towards hope and solace in an ever-changing world. As we continue to explore the depths of our own consciousness, we may uncover new insights into the origins of our faith. But one thing remains constant: the profound impact that belief in God has had on shaping human history, inspiring art, literature, and countless acts of kindness and compassion. So as you look up at the stars and ponder the mysteries of existence, ask yourself, what does belief in God mean to you? Is it a comforting guide or a source of strength and inspiration? Share your thoughts below and let your voice join the eternal dialogue between humanity and the divine. And if you want to learn more about this topic, check out these videos.